Good morning, everybody. And it's another Monday, and we're here to talk about Money Matters. And this show is really becoming really important to me because of what is going on in the world. So my guest today is Michael. He is with West USA. He is a wealth of information. And so he's going to talk about some really important topics. So I want you to listen to this one for sure. Michael is in real estate. He's an agent. He helps investors. He helps people with wealth. He's written a book. He's got a YouTube channel. So you want to kind of connect with him and save his information. But I'm going to let Michael take it from here and share, because he's in the know of right now of what's going on. And he's going to kind of share some things. And Michael, go ahead. And if you want to share anything I missed about you, go ahead.
Karen, you and I have known each other for a really, really long time. And yes, absolutely. I'm a real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent since 1971, but we've kind of graduated since then. I'm now in wealth planning. We do an awful lot of what I would say would be a retirement planning. We do portfolio management. We make sure that people have money to live on. You know, so most of my clients, I have to tell you, you and I have such a great synergy because you and I work with mostly baby boomers. I'm 71 years old, so most of my clients are really 55 to 70 years old. I have an awful lot of real estate agents. Of course, I speak here in the Valley. I've written a couple of books. You know, I used to write for Wall Street, so I'm really, really financially tuned in. And I'm an expert in real estate, as you said, but I'm an expert in real estate investment that actually cash flows. And here's where everybody falls down, is that they may accumulate some wealth, but they don't get any income from it. It's like being a farmer that's got 1,000 acres, but they don't have a crop and they've got no money coming in. Sure, they look great on paper, but they're eating beans. And I'm going to tell you, I offer free consultation because I speak around the Valley, as you know, and people can come to me and we spend an hour together. I've never charged anybody for this, and they pour their hearts out to me, Karen. It's just an awful, awful thing, because they're 60 or 65 years old and they realize that they've got the kids put through school, and now they've got to worry about themselves, you know, husband and wife. They've got a life in front of them, and now they've got to continue working. I have agents coming to me in their 70s. I even have some in their 80s, and they absolutely positively have to work. I'm going to do just a short presentation. You know, we speak all over the Valley on this. This is like my passion to get this done. So, Karen, just bear with me as I bring up the screens here so we can talk about this. But it is a travesty here in the United States. I'm going to tell you that there is a theme here that people are shocked when you're 65 years old and you retire. Most people are retiring from their income. They don't have any more money coming in, and they just can't wait to retire for those golden years, and then they find out that they don't have enough money. And I'm going to tell you, you are absolutely positively on your own. There isn't anyone going to help you. You know, your kids get married, they get families, and yes, they had well-intentioned. Oftentimes they can't help you, and people are just stunned because there's no one going to help you. There's very few people that are trying to help you, and the best advisor you can possibly have is yourself, because the world has changed. You know, you used to be able to get pensions from your work. You'd work for them for 30 years or 40 years, and you retired. They give you a golden watch, and then be getting a pension fund that you would get each and every month that you could absolutely count on. That's no longer the case. It's absolutely no longer the case. Everybody has an IRA and a 401k, and now no longer are you a machinist or a laborer or a real estate agent. Now you have to be a financial planner, and you have to be a stockbroker, and people just are failing miserably. And here's what happens. This is where the shock comes in. This is where the rubber meets the road, is that 8.8 million Americans over 55 years of age, Karen, 8.8 million of these people live in absolute poverty. They have nothing. They're living on the streets. How would you like to be 75, 80 years old, 90 years old, and homeless? How would you like to do that? Have nowhere to go. And we're entering into kind of a recession. So our job is to find a way that people can get an income. We do this virtually every single day. I mean, there's some timing, there's some planning that it can be done, but it's absolutely imperative that people start thinking of getting this done. So here's Here's what we need. If you look at the per FRED, that's the Federal Reserve electronic data. If you want to go, just go onto the internet. They are just full of all kinds of data. They've got all kinds of things, but they're telling us that the average household income in the United States is $67,500. Here in Maricopa County, it's another 10 grand higher. It's actually at $78,000. So you're going to need at least 80% of that money that you're making. So if you're making, if you need $80,000, you've got to be coming up with $64,000 of passive income that comes to you each and every single month. Now, and what we see is that people retire with maybe $100 or $200 or $300,000, and they just blow through that. They just blow through that, and now they're back to work. That's why you see all these people at the Home Depot or Albertsons or Safeway. I was at the Safeway, like 2 weeks ago, and there's a guy that's got 2 carts. He's got a Safeway jacket on, and he's out pushing the carts. He's got to be 90 years old. And he's working, and they're not working because it's a social outing. They're working because they want to keep the electricity on. So you're going to need at least 80%. You're going to need at least $60,000 or $70,000 coming in each and every year, probably on a monthly basis, that you can count on. And it needs to grow. We forget about inflation. Here we are in inflationary times. We've got an 8.3% inflation, but I've had some headline numbers at 12%. And of course, you need something that's going to go ahead and give you some inflation protection as well. And you're going to need income. I'm going to tell you, you're just going to need more income than you can possibly imagine that you're going to need. Now, if you start talking to your financial planners, or you start talking to Schwab or Vanguard, they're going to talk about the Bengen rule. And the Bengen rule allows you to have 4% of your assets each and every month for 30 years. So you can get 4%, I'm sorry, not every month, so 4% for the year, and that's divided into a month. And for you to get $6,500 a month, you're going to need $1.625 million, $1.6 million, to get $6,000 a month coming in for 30 years. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to live a lot longer. So if you're 65 retiring, my wife's got a really good shot at living to 100. So I have to make sure that she's covered until she dies, because on the Bengen rule, it's good for 30 years. So if you retire at 65, at 95, you're broke. Well, who wants to be broke at 95 years old? This is just an absolute, positively travesty in America. It's going to get worse. If we enter into any kind of recession, we're going to see people's assets take a beating, and it's just been a problem. This is an old chart that I got off from banking rates, but I'm going to tell you, we see this all the time. Here's when we talk to people. 55% of all Americans, 55% have less than $10,000 when they retire. Can you imagine that, retiring with less than $10,000? They get Social Security, and they think, well, okay, I can retire, and this is going to supplement my life. Well, there's no possible way that this does this. So look at over here on this chart. If you've got $300,000 saved up, now remember, we're talking about 1.6 million to have 6,500. So if you've got $300,000 in liquid assets, you're in a 14th percentile. You're almost an elite. That means that 86% of the country does not. And I'm going to tell you that 41.9 million retirees depend entirely on Social Security. Look at this. Here's the average Social Security benefit for 2022. The average, this is the average. So if you're single, it's $1,666. And if you're lucky enough to still be married in your late 60s and 70s, you get $2,500. But the moment one of your spouses die, you only get the higher of the two. So you lose probably a third or half of your income. And I'm going to tell you, we've got a big rental portfolio. This is what we work with a lot of our clients. Most of our clients they're all passive. Some of my clients have never even seen their properties. But we sit down and counsel with them. Do you know what our average rent here in Phoenix, Arizona is? It's $2,100. $2,100. That is the average rent in Phoenix, Arizona. And if you're single and getting Social Security, how do you afford this? How do you afford this? It's just a travesty in America. For some reason, we thought we'd never get to be my age, and of course, that's just not true. And I'm going to tell you, you see all these seniors down at the mall. They're walking around, they're sharing coffee. You know, it's 120 degrees outside in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're in the mall walking. Well, they're there so they don't have to turn the air on at their house because they can't afford the air conditioning because it's not enough. And if you're 50 or 60 years old, we can do something about this. You know, it's a lot easier if we've caught you at 25 or 30 because then we can make your life absolutely amazing. But we really, even if you're retiring, there's things that we can do to get you consistent income. You know, we handle a huge portfolio of properties. We handle absolutely everything. We're a fiduciary. You know, I'm a fiduciary. I have clients that are in Europe and out of state. They've never seen their properties. They send us money. We place that funds. We send them a check each and every month. That's what we do. Let me just go to this last one. I am with West USA. I've been in business for 50 years. My firm is really creating wealth. You're welcome to reach me at this number and at michaeldouville@gmail.com. I am holding a seminar in December on this. So we just finished one. You know, and I have people want to bring their family and their friends and their neighbors to the seminar. And we haven't set a date yet, so Karen, you can do that. But I cannot emphasize enough that we have one life. This is the life we've been given, and it's up to us to do everything we possibly can, because you can't come back from this. You know, so you and I have known each other for a lot of years. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I grew up in very, very humble beginnings. And I was just destroyed when Volcker raised interest rates in the early 80s. I was just shocked. I was a young man. I didn't know this stuff could happen. You know?
Like what just happened to my job.
You know, what is this? And I told my wife at the time I'd never, ever allow that to happen. And we moved here to Phoenix. And, you know, eight years later, I semi-retired. You know that for 20 years I've taken my kids to Australia. For the summer, we've gone to Australia for May, June, and July and played on the beach. It's just been an outstanding life. We offer that to everyone. This is a very, very possible to do. You don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to have will to do this. So we're available. I offer free consultations. You know, we're going to give you an hour and a half of our time. I've never charged anyone. You know, if you're going to hold me for a week or two, I might have to charge for that. But most people, you know, come in, they're free to sit down. We'll make some plans and get together. And they're certainly welcome for you too, because you and I are doing basically the same thing. It's heartwarming for me. So I want to thank you so very, very much for just this opportunity, because the more people become realize that we're going to get old, we're going to need income, and there are really very, very good opportunities for us to change our lives and get things done, the better off all of us are going to be. So thank you so very much, Karen. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, it's so crucial. I just feel now, you know, it's like I just remember I was young and now here I am and I'm old. That gap went really quick, and nobody prepared. None of us were prepared really for retirement at all. And it's not easy, right? The Medicare and the Social Security, how to do it, and when to do it, and how to invest. Like, there are so many levels. That's why I bring on experts, because you can't figure this stuff out. It's complicated. But if you have a plan and you're working with people, you can have a better life, because I am seeing it rampant. I was watching the market today and it's not pretty this morning, you know, and I know seniors that have already retired ahead of me are sick probably watching those accounts because they thought that money was going to last. So
yes, of course.
And those stats you gave are frightening, but they're true. So the more we can educate people, and of course everyone knows I do the reverse mortgage, and you've got to look at it because you may be able to take funds out to buy an investment property and then have additional income. Like, there's not just the reverse mortgage to eliminate a mortgage payment, which is important because that's it, but maybe you're broke and you have a house free and clear.
Well, we see this all the time. Yeah, it's particularly as you get to my age and you really need an income. And he needs a little bit of inflation protection, which is what we've been doing. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for a lot of people. You know, it's an amazing how well it really does work. And you're absolutely correct. So we make ourselves available if this is something that can work. It's absolutely free. And we laud you for what you're doing. If we can help in any way, just let us know. We're here to help you with that.
Okay, awesome. We might have to do some more specific shows or something in the future, but if anyone is interested, we will definitely put on something to come here, Michael, talk about some strategies you could do differently. It's great. And maybe you missed it, but maybe you can educate yourself and then educate your kids and your grandkids. Like pass on that knowledge to do something better. So Michael, we're going to let everybody get back to work, including yourself. Thank you for getting up early to do this with me. And we'll do more. And everybody have a wonderful Monday. And remember, your money matters and you need to do something about it. So have a great one.
Thank you, Karen. See you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.